just recently it's been his grandfather who's been in hospital, quite sick, and it's obviously taken quite a toll on Darcy. His stress levels have definitely increased, and therefore we've had some behaviour problems, I suppose.
At school, teacher aide Fred is no longer with Darcy. A Ministry of Education decision to cut back Darcy's teacher aide allowance to just 3 hours a day has meant that Fred had to move on.
Go off YouTube. Yes, you're not allowed on there.
Darcy is now unsupervised for large chunks of each school day.
I've gone on YouTube.
I've dropped him off at school, he's taken off through the back field and gone into a shop.
He shoplifted a quantity of food, then went and locked himself in the public toilets and chowed down on as much as he could. So, and all of this happened before 9 o'clock in the morning.
He's also taken a razor to school and he's cut his arms and his fingers. He was probably stressed, not getting his feelings out, me neglecting him because I've been spending so much time at the hospital. Sometimes I think that maybe I'm not giving him enough attention at the time.
With what?
I don't have problems with him when he has a teacher aide in here. It's when he doesn't have somebody with him, that's when problems occur, because I can't keep an eye on him all the time. And he's very clever at sussing out the situation in the classroom and then thinking, okay, I can get away with this, and he'll disappear from classroom.
And when he finds the opportunity to stray, it's no surprise when Darcy's PWS draws him directly to food.
We had an incident not so long ago in the hall kitchen, and we don't know how long he may have been doing this, but our hall kitchen's always been open, and it was just something that we didn't think of. One day, the boys just happened to be walking past the kitchen and saw him in the fridge, and there's stacks of food in there, and he had raw sausages in his hand, and he knew he was in trouble, so he just went straight to the toilet, locked himself in the toilet.
And was in the toilets munching down on him. And that presents a whole new problem of how do you get him out of the toilets, which is locked, and how do you get them off him then, and the whole emotional problems for him.
Darcy struggles to cope with changes in routine, and the stress that he's feeling is making things worse. Today he has an ear infection, which means he can't put his head underwater, but he's having trouble understanding why.
Mum said that you can go for a swim, but you can't put your head under the water, but you can still swim along the side. All right? All right? Once he gets upset, he can't just stop and think about what's happening and then diffuse it. Most of the time he has to actually go through the whole full-on tantrum before he settles down. Das, if you don't tell me you're not going to put your head under water, I won't be able to let you go for a swim. You want to wet your head? You can't. When I first took on this position, I thought, yeah, we can do this. He can, mainstream's for him. We can work through it, but I've just seen all the things he's had to miss out on. I can honestly say there's not a heck of a lot of learning going on without his teacher aide there. If he had somebody full-time, then maybe it'll be different.
Ms. Tito's whole class is waiting to swim, and she needs to supervise them, leaving Darcy out in the cold. The cavalry arrives in the form of new teacher aide, Jo, whose 3 hours work today will begin by diffusing yet another of Darcy's tantrums.
When Fred was here as a teacher aide, there was a lot of violence. He would hit and kick and that sort of thing. He's been physical with the new teacher aide a couple of times, and that's the tricky thing about him being in a mainstream school as well, is seeing him do things that other students would be asked to leave the school, or we'd have a meeting with parents.
Then why has the Ministry of Education insisted on cutting back on Darcy's teacher aide hours?
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
There seems to be a conception that as he gets older, the level of support can be lessened because there's this belief that he becomes more higher functioning as a result of his being at school. Not true. His needs increase. He's going through puberty, he's got hormones to deal with, and he doesn't have the ability to deal with that. Every time Darcy has one of these episodes, it presents me with that real hard choice. Has his behaviour got to the stage where it is now impinging on the ability for other children to learn and their right to learn within the classroom?
At last, Darcy gets into the pool for the final 5 minutes of the class swim, taking care not to wet his head.
For a child without Prader-Willi syndrome, any one of Darcy's behaviours would have led me to say that this child needs to be suspended. I certainly don't want to suspend him, but if by suspending him we get the support he needs, then maybe we have to do that.
If Darcy can make it through the school year without being suspended, his battle will not be over. And it can only be fought by those who love him.
It's just a job and I have to do it. Because no one else is going to do it. No one else is going to fight for Darcy. But me.
There has been a significant victory in the O'Reilly family's struggle with Prader-Willi syndrome. Pharmac has agreed to fund Cameron for a full course of growth hormone therapy. Strangely, not under the Prader-Willi criteria, but through a loophole.
As it turned out, he is growth hormone deficient, so Pharmac are now paying for the full treatment, and he'll have that treatment until he stops growing at around 16 years of age.
For Karen and I, the psychological burden has lifted hugely because funding it for the rest of his life was just going to cripple us financially, which had a huge impact on just how we looked at our future, really. And just having this funded for the next 13 years has given us a chance to breathe and to have hope and joy, and it's just lifted a huge burden off us.
Now receiving a full dose of the miracle drug, Cameron is going from strength to strength.
It seems that every day, every week, every month, he surprises us with just how well he's doing. It's really awesome, actually, because we used to feel quite hopeless about his future. Now he brings us a huge amount of joy that we didn't really think he would.
I can do it.
Hop up the ladder and try again. We were told he'd never be independent from us. You know, who says he won't be independent from us, and who says he can't grow up and go to university and go flatting or whatever he wants? Kids overseas are doing it, so he can.
Be a plumber, they do quite well.
Plumbers, yeah. Have one soon. Have one soon, okay?
Growth hormone will help Cameron build a strong, lean body, but it won't have any effect on the insatiable appetite that is expected to develop any day.
Well, of course, every time we find him in the cupboard, I get paranoid that he's started food seeking. But in fact, Jason's normally with him, and they're really just making a mess. But it is the monkey that sits on our shoulder, isn't it?
It's a cloud that we try and keep at bay, really, and we hope beyond hope that it won't actually be in Cameron's future.
I will show you where it goes.
For now, anything seems possible. While growth hormone has no direct effect on Cameron's intellectual development, he's recently been assessed as reading at a level higher than his age.
So that's really exciting for us because it indicates that even though his speech quality is not great, everything inside his head seems to be going on normally. And yeah, so I think the sky's the limit if the brain is functioning properly.
When he gets his mind set on something, he really just sticks to it, and he's determined, and and that's just fantastic because certainly determination is what makes a difference in life. And he's full of determination. When he gets an idea in his mind, he won't let it go, and that's just more than we could ever hope for, really. Hey, Camo.
Yeah.
Not everyone's year has been as good.
Okay, it's got nothing to do with you, and I'm asking you nicely.
Francie has strayed into dangerous territory.
I don't want to go there. No, I'm not talking about that.
Francie started the year determined to lose weight. Just how successful she's been is about to become clear.
Cool, that's great, Francie. You've lost a kilo. You were 124 and now you're 123. Oh,
At 123 kg, Francie's weight is the same as it was 12 months ago, despite plenty of regular exercise and supposed strict dieting.
Prader-Willi is difficult to cope with in lots of ways. It's harder than anybody else to burn calories, and it's hard to stop eating. I just got to concentrate on getting on top of the exercising and make sure that I do exercise every day.
She worked really, really, really hard. She did a lot of hard out work, but she thought because she was exercising, she could therefore eat more. You know, the weight did go on.
So what does it leave us after I paid Mum?
But food is not Francie's only addiction now. Her compulsion to have something in her mouth has meant a major development in her lifestyle.
these smelly things.
Thanks, Kate.
2nd of January, we've got them up till.
Okay.
Just like food, Francie's cigarettes are tightly controlled, just 3 a day, which is more than Linda would like.
Far be it from me to say that the people who work with her can't smoke or aren't allowed to smoke. Many staff do smoke, and Francie sees this as part and parcel of being an adult and growing up, so why can't I smoke as well? It just got beyond me, actually. It just, this year, things piled up, and there's some things you just have to let go, and that cigarette smoking was one of them.
Each time I light a cigarette, it's like dropping a dollar coin down the drain. But it does stop me from wanting to eat more. It keeps me calm. It keeps me in a good mood. And next year I definitely want to give it up because it's cutting down on my bills.
It's a disappointment, but all things considered, I don't suppose lung cancer is going to kill her.
Okay, it's got nothing to do with you, and I'm asking you nicely to please go away.
Breaking long-term habits is something Francie must try to do every day, but in a new environment, she has found this a struggle. Her welcome to the neighbourhood was short-lived. Francie's compulsion to eat at any cost soon drove her to steal from her neighbour.
I don't want to go there. No, I'm not talking about that. That's just in the past now. That's been dealt with. So, yeah, I just hope not to get into trouble with the police again.
A year of living independently has had its ups and downs, but Francie is still committed to her long-term goal to lose weight.
Definitely, I am going to still work on that goal, and hopefully, if I ever see you guys again, one day I will be down to the size of my mum.
Do you want to put any in there? You got some room, do you think, or not?
The whole weight thing aside, she is a much, much happier person. She feels more independent. She loves her life. So Francie as a person has really, really matured. I really, really love her.
So this is a very new trick. She's only been doing it for a few weeks.
The last few months have changed Amelia's life forever. Soon after her second birthday, she began a full course of Pharmac-funded growth hormone therapy.
You roll over for Dad?
Now Derek and Debbie can look forward to seeing their daughter bloom.
We noticed the difference within 24 hours. So her energy levels were just huge, just jumped immensely. She couldn't crawl at that stage, she would just collapse. She managed to do that, and within 10 days of starting, she was actually crawling. I'm coming to get you. It's just wonderful to see her how she should have been when they should have started the drugs a whole lot earlier. So I think that Pharmac have cost us about a year of happiness, and with other families out there that don't have it, it's longer for them.
In utopia, where money was no constraint and resources were no constraint, I think there is a very good argument to be made for all PWS adults and children to be given a trial of growth hormone.
Despite extensive international evidence that growth hormone benefits all people with Prader-Willi, Pharmac funds just 8 out of 22 children of an age eligible to receive it.
If the government is prepared to give children growth hormone therapy just to make them taller, then they should give it to our kids because it saves their lives.
And for them to say no, Darcy won't be able to have growth hormone, I think that sucks. Maybe I should send Darcy to their house and they can look after him and see how they like it. This is his life we're talking about.